Can we really develop more power by using less muscular force? Can we use the flow of our intention to bring our musculoskeletal system into balance and get rid of any blockages that we may have within our body? And are there any connections in the methods of practice between the Chinese martial arts style of Wing Chun and the ancient spiritual practice of yoga? Let's find out more in this video. As the flow starts to come out, we want to actually send it through here. And then, can you see the wrist is a little bit tight? Let's look at this. If I push in, can you see? Same as when I was moving there, I was able to get leverage there. Watch, if I push into here, can you see I'm getting leverage on the scapula? I'm not pushing that hard. But because it's a little bit tight there, so how do we release this without going floppy? How do we release this without going floppy? By being able to relax. So there, the shoulder needs to, as you rise up, release the armpit, let the shoulder hang down more, let it come through more. No, don't stretch it open, release it open. And that's why this elbow joint is a good teacher for that, because you can't stretch the elbow joint in this position. You have to be able to release it. So if I push into you now, imagine flows coming out of the heel of the palm, and then now can you release this into that, flow into that, release. That's a little bit better. So now with a little bit of a help of, it's a little bit more relaxed. The bicep's still a little bit tight. Open up the bicep by flowing through. You know, and this we can test is better. If I push in, rise up, relax the neck. Back, good, place, and then out. And then aim to me. So as I push in now, can you see it's a bit more stable? Can you see that? Can you see it's not floppy, it's not catching there? That we can do this with any joint, even the fingers, right? But what we want about this tendon, for the ones that haven't felt it, if you feel your own, like that, and if I put my hand on you like that, and if I say, if we can't open that to the level I'm talking about, if I say, okay, now remember this movement we did before, if you touch your own chest with this hand, it can be quite hard. It can start to, right? It can start to, so if you feel from here and you feel here, you guys should feel it if you haven't before, because it puts things in perspective that this is not, it's real, right? The openness is a real tangible thing that you can start to feel. So from here, the tendon area. So if you hold hard, because we're looking at joint, not just, the muscles are easy to relax, we're going to joint. If I try to touch my chest, you feel like that. That's tension. So it's like a bicep curl, right? If you hold harder, hold really harder, it's virtually impossible. And watch what happens to my shoulder and my neck and everything else. It starts to, he's not pushing on me, I'm pushing on myself. Newton's third law, force bounces back, it has to give somewhere, right? If it gives in me, means it's not going to give in him. It dissipates in me, the force that I'm creating, right? So then now from there, yeah, you can feel the bicep maybe. From there, if I go like this.
It's soft.
Yeah, even the tendon's gone. Now hold strong. So from there, it becomes quite easy to start moving this joint. So from there, it becomes quite easy to start moving this joint. It's real. It's not imagination or hoping. It's real, tangible opening of the connective tissue. So here, you've got like this on top. So if I try to move towards myself, like this, right? Now from there, feel the tendon. The bicep's easy to relax, but the tendon's harder. So it'll be like that. Yeah. It becomes free to move. Yeah. But the wrist is the same. Fingers are the same. If you're holding strong like that, hold strong. From here, hold strong. Yeah. So from there, if I go like this, right? Compared to, same thing, watch. Comes up the spine, and then out here, hold strong. Out there. Fingers can start to do, the wrist can start to do the same thing. It's the same everywhere. Now, the term we use for this flow of intention is Nim Lik. The Nim means mind, Lik means force. So actually, this is the term that my teacher gave it. And he said, instead of using the words chi or energy or prana or anything like that, he used this term so it's a little bit easier for people to understand that actually it's completely and totally guided through the power of our mind, through our intention. The intention, that this term Lin Tao, it's actually taken out of Wing Chun's first form, Siu Lim Tao. Siu means little, Lim Tao means intention, idea, or state. I think intention would be the best translation. So we use this Lim Tao, this idea or this state or this intention. Where it begins is very important. It begins at the tip of the tailbone and it flows up in a straight line, in a straight thin line, all the way up to the top of the head and beyond. And this, in the beginning, is a visualization maybe. It's an intention of relaxing, releasing, decompressing the vertebrae and sort of counting. The intention should act as a anti-gravity kind of type of force, because gravity is compressing the body, the joints on top of each other, so we're taking pressure off the joints. And then after that, after a while, it's not a visualization anymore. It becomes a tangible feeling where we can actually, for the ones that can do it, by putting the hand on the back muscles, we can feel the back muscles releasing. We can start to feel a kind of opening, elongation, not a stretching, but an opening in the joints of the spine. And what I was demonstrating in this video, in this seminar, was the same thing that happens in this, it stems and begins in the spine, the same thing happening in the shoulder and in particular the elbow joint. I pick the elbow joint usually because it's very tangible for people. Usually when we hold a movement like this, their bicep is contracted and the tendons are sort of fired. So, and I show that, you know, when they're putting force, as I put the intention through, they can feel the opening, the releasing of not just the bicep muscle, but also of there's a releasing in the tendon area as well. And as a result, this joint or this area can produce a lot more power. You can produce a lot more force with obviously less use of muscular effort. And this is not a sort of a cheating kind of thing where you're replacing the tension here and you're replacing the back muscle or anything. The entire body, the entire muscular system fires less to get this kind of power. And again, it's stemmed by the power of the mind, by the power of our intention. Now, the similarities to yoga. For those of you that know a little bit about yoga, yoga was originally the yoga as we know it these days, or the sort of commercialized yoga, is just about the asanas, the postures that people, you know, do very impressive postures that demonstrate a lot of strength, demonstrate a lot of flexibility. But these asanas were actually created in yoga to be able to open up the body to a level so that the yogis can sit and not get disturbed by the pains and aches and through the lack of openness and lack of balance in their body, not get disturbed by the pains and aches that may arise, the discomforts that may arise from the body, and therefore they can sort of go beyond the body and they can start to work with their energy systems, which they call the chakra systems, which they enables them to what they call raise the kundalini energy. So the interesting thing is that my teacher, Master Chu Shong Tin, when we were asking him about, you know, as we know in a lot of other Chinese Kung Fu practices like Tai Chi, they work on cultivating the energy in the Dantian. And so that naturally we asked him, we said, what's the relationship with what we're doing? What's the relationship with Dantian? He said, we don't use the Dantian. We don't cultivate power here. We don't use that method. I said, okay, but it's a Chinese art, so there must be some similarities. And the similarities are that, you know, they both say use minimum use of muscular effort. You know, there is a use yi or intention, or what we say nim tao, and there is a flow of something. But it doesn't follow those meridian lines, and it doesn't orbit in the way that they do to cultivate at the dantians. And then he followed by saying, from what he's come across in terms of what he's seen in videos from all the people that he's met, yogis are the only people that are using this type of intention, or he said this type of energy in the same way that we do in Wing Chun, and that is to fill it up in terms of word by word. He said to use it to open up their spine, open up their middle part. He said spine, but let's call it the middle line. To open that up, to be able to sit for a long period of time and not get disturbed by, again, not have to use muscular force. And that's where he ended it. But I believe there are things that are happening in terms of energetically opening up blockages. That's happening in yoga. That's also happening with this type of Wing Chun as well. So this is why, according to him and according to my own experience of meeting with a lot of people, a lot of Chinese Kung Fu other Chinese Kung Fu practitioners, and being in touch with a few high-level yogis, I can also say that the similarities between Wing Chun and yoga are there, much more than the similarities between, let's say, Wing Chun and Tai Chi. And this is from our experiences, from our understanding, and also when we discuss it with yogis, and when they feel it, they get very interested in it. And they also, there's two yogis that I'm in touch with, and they also agree that we are using the same energy system. So it's very interesting, just putting the information out there. It's very interesting. Still early days for myself. I've been doing this for 26 years. I've been doing the internal aspect of it really from when I came to Hong Kong in 2005, when I started to continue my practice in Wing Chun with my Grandmaster Chu Shong Tin. So it's been 19 years in that. And out of that 19 years, I would say probably 15 of those have been really, on this path. So still early days for me as well. So, but anyway, just putting the information out there. If there are any yogis out there that want to discuss this further, if there is, Tai Chi people out there that maybe can add to this in the comments, please go there. Let's start a discussion in the comments, and let's see where we can take it. Cheers, guys.